Alright guys, so let's just start this. Let's start running very quickly, and others that have not joined us, they will have to watch the replay of this video because it is going to be saved on this YouTube. So what we are going to do is to just start rolling. So we've waited long enough, so let's start rolling. If you are here, you can join us very quickly so that we can start rolling. Now I want to do a recap of last night's broadcast that was interrupted by the network, so we're going to run a recap of it. So let's kick it off very quickly, and yes, so you can let others know. You can let others know that we are live now and we are broadcasting live. So this is what we are going to do here. We are just going to look at what coding and programming is, and how you can actually move from a zero from a code hero. It doesn't matter whether you know coding before now. When you follow us on this training, you are going to learn how to start and how you can actually become a very good coder. So let's run very quickly. So let's look at today's map. This is going to be our roadmap, right? Basic concept and terminology. We're going to look at logic flow and pseudocode, and we're going to look at programming languages. And if time permits us, we will step into Workspace, where we can do some Workspace setup. Then we will definitely run our first project today, time or not. We're going to do our first project, and we're going to look at the debugging as well on practice. Let's see how we can actually get this done quickly. Now when we talk about variables, basic terminology, we're talking about a storage box, right? We're talking about data type, we're talking about kind of stuff in the box. We're talking about functions, we're talking about reusable recipe. Then we'll talk about loop, talk about repeat, something in repeat. We'll put it in repeat, and it runs on a repeat. Then we'll talk about conditions, that's if this or if that. Remember, we mentioned if conditions, right? Now, let's logic flow. I want you to begin to think like a computer, right? Computer work in a flow chart. You give me this, I give you that. You ask me to use this to make that to happen. We're talking about pseudocode, talking about when you write in plain words. So we have a combination of strings that we use to actually do any form of coding, right? Now, to break it down, I want you to understand this. Coding and programming, what is the difference really? Is there a difference? Because we use it interchangeably most of the time. So is coding all about CSS and C++ and HTML and PHP and JavaScript with JS? Then what then is programming? Now, I wanted to just take a look at it. What is the difference between coding and programming? Now, coding is writing machine readable inputs, right? When you write a language, you write a certain syntax, and you're writing the lines of code. That is coding, right? You are writing a lines. That is coding. Writing something that your machine can interpret. For example, your web browser does not understand English. So you cannot speak plain English or speak Igbo or speak Yoruba to your web browser. It's not going to understand that. So your web browser runs on codes, on script. So at the back end of your web browser, you are writing machine readable input for your browser to read. You are writing a language or a syntax or a combination of both language and syntax. That means some level of tags, scripts for a combination with readable language for your browser to interpret. So we're going to do something like that very, very quickly and we're going to see how our browser is going to interpret that. Then why programming is when you are creating and developing an executable machine program. For example, you are debugging and testing stuff, or you are saying, okay, when someone show up here and write 2 plus 2, tell the person it is 24. Now that is something that is executable, something that is going to execute. What you have written will be executed. Whereas when it comes to coding, what you have written will be interpreted, will be shown. Let me use that word. But on this other case, it is not what you have written that is shown, but the result that you want what you have written to produce, that is what is executed. That means he executes something. Like a calculator, 1 plus 1 is 2. Calculator is going to give you 2 because the person asks 1 plus 1. That is a program. Whereas a coding is, I put this together in this language, interpret it so that it will be like this. So that is coding. Now, 3 types of coding languages. I used to call them the 3 blocks of coding languages. We have scripting, we have programming, and we have markup. Now, understand this. It is very, very simple. It is not hard at all. Scripting, programming, and markup. I call it XPM. Now, if you understand SPM, you're definitely going to understand everything about coding languages. So when you look at scripting, you can see stuff like Python, PHP, JavaScript, Perl, and Ruby. You're going to see them under scripting. Now, when you look at programming, you're going to see C++, you're going to see Java, you're going to see C#, Visual Basic, and Go, and the rest of them. Now, when you now look at markup, that's when you begin to see HTML, TX, and XML, and all that. So we are going to look at these languages one after the other. I'm going to pick one example for every one of them. We're going to start from the bottom, look at HTML, then we'll jump to look at Visual Basic, then we'll now look at Python, then maybe we'll look at Scratch if time permits us, or we stay with PHP. Now, this is how we are going to wrap this up so that you understand it. So I'm going to go to the basics, which is HTML, to help you to understand coding. Now, like I said to you before, when we were not having a visual, I said it is very, very easy. So when you pay attention, you realize that this is easy. So we're going to start with markup. So let's start with HTML, then we'll flow into CSS, because HTML without CSS is not very nice. It's not beautiful. It's easy. It's very simple, but it is not beautiful. So let's see how I can bring this up. What you can help me to do now is to go to your computer. You can go to your computer, go to your start, then go to your start button on your system. All right, so we are going to check our notepad. So go to your computer and go look for notepad. When you find notepad, then you open it. So we're going to be writing our first script, right? That's the first thing we're going to be doing, writing our first script. So when you find your notepad, you are going to open your notepad. So now, let's see if we can execute this, if we can write this. You can see the tags before us right now. Can we write this tags, right? So you can see my first code line. This me. There is a deliberate mistake of English there. This is supposed to be this is me. This me. I understand codes. It is what I put in verse tag element and what I want to see. Now pay attention, please. Writing code is very easy. Just understand the basics. So this is what we're going to execute right now. I hope you are with your computer, or you can play this back again. You pause so that you can execute, you can write this easy code. So this is the code that gave us this beautiful this. This is the code that gave us this. And this beautiful stuff you are seeing is a combination of CSS and HTML. So this is the HTML code that gave us what we have right now. So you see, everything that is written out here is what I want you to type out on your notepad. Then you are going to save it with anything.html. That is what you're going to do, because it's an HTML language. As you can see, it starts with HTML and ends with HTML, right? So go to your normal notepad on your system. Go find your notepad on your system. Go to start, click on your start button. When you click on your start button, you will scroll down to look for your notepad. I think, well, let's check Office. Let's see where your notepad is. If you don't, that is if you don't know where your notepad is. So if you don't know where your notepad is, let's see Window Accessories. I think Notepad is under Window Accessories. So you can scroll down under Window Accessories and you will see your notepad, right? So I am opening my notepad right now. So let me open my notepad. Okay. I hope you can see my notepad. So this is my notepad, and I'll be writing my first code on my notepad. I'll be writing my first code. I have a code here. It's actually a CSS code, so it is not CSS I want. I want to write the very code that is on your screen. Okay, I just copied that code on your screen. Look at it. It starts with HTML. Right, start with HTML. You can see a link there. I'm just giving it space so that you can see the difference. Then this is head, and you can see title up here, and you can see body, and you can see H1, my first line. All right, so I think I will have to spread it for you to actually see everything. Okay, so after body, then we have another HTML. So I actually copied the HTML on the other side and I brought it here for you to see. All right. Okay. So this is it. Now, the first rule here is that wherever you open, you will definitely need to close. And you can see less than HTML greater than. And you can see less than. There is a link. There is a reel. There is a style sheet. There is href equals to style.css, then greater than. Then there is less than head, and there is a greater than. There is a less than title, greater than, then up here. Then there is less than / title, greater than. There is less than / head, greater than. You can see this head was open without a / and it's being closed with a /. You can see title was open without a / because only what you have is a less than, title, greater than. Then you now have the less than, then you have a /, then you have title. Then now you have body. Body was open too without a /. Then you have body closed here with a /. Then you have H1 open without a /, H1 closed with a /. Then you see divide, where you actually, it closes here. Then you see paragraph, it open here, and paragraph closes here. Then the HTML finally closes. That is just a simple code. So let's do something about this code. Let's save it as .html. So I'm going to click on save as. I'm going to click on save as. Now I'm going to make sure that whatever I do, they are on the same folder. Because if they are not on the same folder, I am not going to be able to link the CSS with I will not be able to save the CSS with my HTML. All right, so let me see if you can see my full screen. I want to capture my full screen for you to see. Let me get you my full screen so that you get to see the full screen. Let's see, you can get to see my full display screen, right? A full display. All right, just give me a moment. I'm trying to get my full screen for you to see so that you can see how I saved, what I do, and all that. Okay, so just give me a moment. All right, I think I'm almost there. All right. Okay, now you can see this is, I'm still on my notepad. I'm still on my notepad. All right, so I have my full screen for you here to see so that you can see everything I'm doing on my system, so that you will not think there are some stuff that you cannot see that I am doing. Now this is my full screen for you to see. So here is my notepad, right? So you can see my notepad. Now you can see my notepad right here. So what I want to do is to save this notepad. All right. So I'm going to save this as with a name. Let's say I'm saving this with save as. I want to use any name. You can use any name whatsoever. So I'm going to use my page, right? Make sure whatever you are using, if it's two words, the two words are together. Then you write .html, right? So like I said, make sure everything is on the same folder. So I'm going to find a folder that I want this to be in. I'm going to find a folder that I want this to be in. So I'm going to use this folder, right? I'm going to use this folder. So you can see it's my page.html, my page.html. So I'm going to save it as such. So I'm going to go to that folder right now. So I'm going to that folder. So the folder that I use here is the folder, and I actually save it as my page. You can see my page here is showing an icon, and it's showing a browser icon. That's because I save it as .html. So you can see the browser icon that is showing. So I am going to allow it to propagate properly so that we can get to see what is in there. All right. So I'm going to double click on this, and it's going to take me somewhere. So now that I double clicked on it, you can see the code that we wrote, right? You can see the code. So I should just go to the page. This is the code that we wrote, and it's showing right here. So it is not as colorful as the one we were using as our sample. So let's see the one we're using as our sample. Now, The one we're using as our sample is this one, right? It's not as colorful as that one is not as colorful as it at all. So this is the one we'll use as sample. Let's see it. And this is the code we wrote, but it is not there yet. So what we are saying and what we have is not the same. You can see this is a sample. What we just got is not the same. The reason is very simple. What we have here, this link is not linking to CS yet because we have not written our CS. So what we should do now is to go write our CS code. So we are going straight to go write our CS code. So first, so let's switch to, so that we'll go and write our CSS. So there is a CS code we are going to write. So I'm going to go back to show you that CS code. I'm going to show you that CS code right now. So this is our CS code. Now this is our CS code. So this is the CS code we are going to use. This is me trying to explain the CSS. We are going to come back here. So this is the CS code we are going to write to get that orange, what we call paddy, that background, and the eyeline text. That's text going to the center, right? So that is what we are going to do to get this very output. So let's go back. We're going to go back. So we will come back here, right here, to write our CS code. So this is the CS code on that other board, and I've written it already. It's H1. H1, if you remember you can see this one has H1. H1 is here. So this is where we want to affect with our CS code. That's my first code. And if you check when we browse on it, my first code has no color whatsoever. All right, it has no color whatsoever, and it is not center aligned. Notice center aligned here. So what we're going to do now is to go back and rewrite our CS code. So this is our CS code. This is our CS code. So we are going to, so we have color and we have orange, right? Color, column, then orange, semicolon. Text align, column, then we have center, semicolon. Background dash color, we have a column, then yellow, semicolon. Then padding, we have column, then we have 10 pixel, then we have semicolon, then we have the closure. So even here too, H1 was open and H1 was closed. All right. Now, if you notice, you realize that the English spellings used here are American, not British. So you can see color did not have a U, and center, it is not center with a C-E-N-T-R-E. Instead, it is C-E-N-T-E-R. So, all right. So just take note of that. So now let's save this. We're going to save this. I want you to save it as save as. Now we are still on the same folder. If you can see, we're on the same folder. So we're going to save it as style.css. Now CSS code is saved as .css, and HTML code is saved as .html. So we'll click on save. Now you can see it's already saved. So what we will do now is to come back to this our code. Don't forget, this our code has the link already. So we're going to refresh. You see, we have exactly what we saw on the other side. So in case you don't think it's exactly the same, we can minimize our enlarge our screen to fit what we have on the other side. All right. So I think this is what we have on the other side. So we can go and check whether we are on the same page. So we're going to check whether we're on the same page. This is what we have, and this is what we were able to create. So I can reduce the screen to fit in that so that it just be the same line. So you can see this and this match. Now it's the CSS that gave it the color, then it is the HTML that actually did the full script. So HTML is the mother and the CSS is the what do you call it? Is the coloration, is the styling. So let's run with this very quickly. You can see this is the code we used, and this full code, when you type it out, is going to be the same. So you can see inside here you can type whatever you want, you can type whatever the body, you can, whatever you want here you can change. The only thing you need to keep is the tags, right? And make sure you save it the way it ought to be saved. So let's run very quickly. What is CSS? CSS is stand for cascading styling sheet. It is what gives style to your presentation, whatever you are doing. So it had the visual style, as in font, color, margin, lines, height, width, background, image, and all that. CSS will help you to give you this full packaging. All right. So, so this is the code we use, the CSS code. You can expound your code. So I'm going to drop on our training page the CSS dictionary that where you can get all those tags from, and you can know what is the property for what is property for color and all that. Now, this is the line that we created, the links that we created to help us to link the CSS with the HTML. And now this is the result that we got eventually, which was beautiful. So we are going to stop here for today, and we are going to step later straight to how to actually understand the full meaning of the standard properties, the tags, and the result we eventually have. So this is where we are going to be shortening this down so that you can practice. So what you are going to help me to do is that you will practice this, pause this video again and again, practice your HTML code and your CSS code. So I hope you got value from this. If you did, please let me know in the comment section. I hope you got value. So thank you so much. Alright, this is going to be saved on this channel, so you can come back to rewatch it again and again. And by the way, every Thursday I teach coding and programming here, step by step. So, but today I want you to go and practice so today what I want you to do is to go and start to practice the HTML and the CSS. So you can drop your question when we open our page for Q&A, and I believe we've done justice to HTML and coding. So we're going to step into another kind of coding language. So we have done a little bit about scripting, so we're going to expound it for you in our next lecture. Then we'll move on to programming. So we can move on to programming, and we'll use our VS Code before we move to the next one, where we are going to be looking at PHP, or we are going to be looking at any of the other kind of language that we think that is very important for us to actually use for our coding and programming. So you understand what now you understand what programming and coding is about, and how you can actually engage it to get something done. So what is left now is scripting and programming. All right, so see you in our next class.